They say life is a game, gotta have your goals. I gotta take a shot, now pass me the ball. Always wanna stop me when I'm running the ball. Gotta dust it off, now watch me go.
Welcome to Pitch Football at the Euros with me, Iain, Abigail, Davies and Mr. Paul Ince. So much to talk about on today's show. I don't even know where to start. I'm not quite sure where to start.
From the beginning would help.
You think?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
You should write a book.
All right, Denmark 4, Wales 0. 3 of the goals involved some touchy VAR decisions. The second one, the build-up to it, involved a foul on Kiefer Moore. But Wales were absolutely 100% outplayed.
Absolutely, and you know, I think we can all admit that I sulked yesterday evening after the game. I think if I hadn't said it, you or Paul would have mentioned it. But now I've had time to reflect. You know, I think as a Wales fan, having not seen my country qualify for a major tournament until 2016. Seeing us qualify and to be disappointed that we've not made the quarterfinals of a major tournament, I think that just shows where we are.
You feeling proud?
Absolutely. I just think, you know, the pride that the players have when they put on that dragon, put on that shirt, that's how we all feel as Wales fans. It's allowed us to dream, and we've never been able to do that before. We've never had the opportunity to dream of quarterfinals, semi-finals, and to have this group of players that allow us to do that. I am feeling immensely proud. You know, there are decisions that maybe didn't go our way, but we can't take away from the fact that Denmark were brilliant yesterday. They were so much better than us in every department. I think tactically they got it spot on. We didn't. We were overrun in midfield, and you know, it's really disappointing. I think when you go out of a major tournament, you don't mind doing so if you've given the best account of yourselves that you possibly could. We didn't do that yesterday, and I think that's the biggest disappointment for me, along with, you know, I mentioned it yesterday when we were watching the game, but the way the officials dealt with Kiefer Moore, I think that was disgraceful. You know, you jump in for a ball, you can't do that with your arms by your side. And then when he was booked, you saw him try and do it without raising his arms. What's the point in having aerial battles, aerial duels, when officials don't understand how you jump?
He's been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Do you know what? The longer I was talking, the more I could hear the cogs turning.
He's ready to roll.
Listen, you know, I personally, all right, I thought the referee Daniel Schubert was outstanding.
Of course you did.
I did. I thought
he performed the best.
I thought he managed the game very, very well.
Of course he
I
did.
really did. But going back to Wales, I mean, it's great that you got at the group stages.
Yeah.
You know, but you're right, spot on in what you say. Once you do that, then you talk about knockout football. You need your big players to show up, and this is every team. It's not just Wales; it's every team. Yeah. And you know, the likes of Bell and Ramsey never turned up. You know, I agree your point with Kiefer Moore. Unfortunately, for Kiefer Moore, he plays in the Championship, and that's how they play in the Championship. You know, especially when you play at a Cardiff team, they actually play a lot of long balls. You know, sometimes he was kind of giving fouls away, not unnecessary, but sometimes the fouls weren't even fouls. Yeah. You know, it's just that sometimes when these European referees, and I've played at Inter Milan, so I know they kind of don't like that aggressivity. They think it's too aggressive, when in fact it wasn't at times. You know, and you can see Kiefer Moore getting frustrated. Yeah. You know, and it doesn't help. It doesn't help the cause for the Wales side. But I always think in these games, when you go goal down, you've just got to be calm. You've got to be cool. You know what I mean? You've got to stay in the game. And I think Wales panicked.
Yeah.
They panicked all of a sudden.
Lost their head a little bit, and their shape.
They lost their head. They started like trying to press in one person, rather than go at 2 or 3 and 4. People just started running around. As I said, lost their shape. Gaps started to appear. And they just played into the Danish hands, to be fair. And it is disappointing because obviously, as much as I'm an English fan, you want your British nation team to go through. And I thought this was a great chance for Wales to get through.
We spoke about cheap fouls on the show yesterday, and we saw quite a lot coming from this Welsh side, didn't we?
We did. Yeah, we did. And, you know, I said, you know, there's an art to tackling. There's an art to, you know, the angles that you tackle someone. We saw Di Brooks, you know, give a pathetic foul on the edge of the box. These are dangerous situations. You can't keep getting away with them if you're going to keep tackling like that. And it happened time and time again. People just pushing people over where they can't get the ball. The ball's been shielded.
Behind.
From behind. They're just pushing over and giving silly fouls away. Putting pressure on the team, putting pressure on the defence. Can't keep doing that, you know.
But also we were overcomplicating things. I think, you know, one of the biggest things when you're playing football is if the simple ball is on and you're 1 or 2 goals behind, just play that simple ball, play your way into the game again. We weren't doing that. You know, Danny Ward's distribution, we mentioned it after the Italy game, it wasn't great. And again, that was putting us under pressure. Misplaced passes, again, putting us back under the cosh. And I think Connor Roberts going off, I mentioned it when we were watching the game, that to me was more significant than the first goal, because I thought he offered us a great outlet, and he was in, the first 10 minutes, Gareth Bale was seeing a lot of the ball, and Connor Roberts was providing that overlap. And I think that was such a big outlet for us. And then when he went off, of course, Nico Williams came on. I thought defensively he was quite poor. He was getting, he lost his shape. He wasn't staying out wide with the wide player, and he was coming in too much. He was getting sucked in. And I think that allowed them a lot of space out wide.
Do you think from a kind of like, you talk about tactical view and in making the right decisions, we saw the Danish manager, make 2 or 3 subs, even when they were 2-0 up, and yet Wales had even made one, due to, obviously they made one due to injury to Connor Roberts, but, do you think he could have changed it earlier?
Absolutely.
Looking at the game, how the game was going.
Absolutely, and I wouldn't, you mentioned it, why are you taking Kiefer Moore off? If we're going to play that way, and it's been proven that we can't play with a false 9. It doesn't work for us. So, when you've got 20, 30 minutes left and you want to get those balls in the box, and I think Joe Allen, Joe Morrell, they weren't doing enough, and as a result, Aaron Ramsey was having to drop a bit deeper. And I think I would have sacrificed one of those holding midfielders and brought on a Di Brooks or a Harry Wilson and do it earlier. And I think that then it changes the momentum maybe, or you could see a change in momentum, whereas we were trying to rush it even more then, because we're trying to get back into the game with the players you've already got on the pitch. And I think if you had changed it, brought on a Harry Wilson, he wouldn't have felt such pressure to get into the game. I think the red card was pathetic. It was a yellow.
It was a yellow, definitely.
It was a yellow.
It was petulance. That statement, what happened to Harry Wilson, just summed up the whole Welsh team. It really did. I know it wasn't a red card. It was a yellow card, but that's petulance from him. And you're right about Kiefer Moore. I mean, Tyler Roberts doesn't play up front for Leeds. You know what I mean? He doesn't score many goals for Leeds. So if you're going to bring him on with Kiefer Moore.
Exactly.
And go 4-4-2.
He's the one that's getting the balls in the box.
Yeah, exactly.
Do the problems come down to youth and inexperience, do you think, for this stage?
No, not at all. I don't think you can use that as an excuse. We didn't use that as an excuse when they got through the group stages. There have been times where Wales have been very, very good. I just think as a team, I'm not sure whether the word froze is the right word, but as Abby said, they didn't perform well. And off the back of getting out the stages, the Welsh had so much optimism about going into this game. Feeling they can beat, and they just, as she said, the first 10 minutes, I thought, here we go, Wales are on it. On a bit of England against Croatia. Bale had a couple of shots, Ramsey had one blocked, so I'm thinking they've got a great chance here. And then after that, they just kind of did, I don't know, I think they kind of lost. They thought that was their chance, and they kind of thought, well, ministers just all hang about. We're getting a bit too.
But I don't want to use either. A lot has been made of how much we've had to travel, and we did look tired yesterday. But I don't want that to be an excuse because, as you said, we weren't using that as an excuse when we got out of the group stages. And I think we're not the only ones. Of course, we have seen so far. The teams that have got past the last 16, they're the ones that have had to travel the least. But I think as long as the preparation, that's key, isn't it? As long as you prepare for it.
It is, and I think it's always hard though, because I think sometimes because Wales, I don't say struggled to get to the group stage, but every game they played in that group stage was important. They had to win, they had to do something. So there was an element of more pressure on them. And that can cause nervous energy. That can make you tired, and then you go into 16, it's more pressure. It's not like these Italy side who kind of were through after 2 games. Every game was high intensity, high octane games, and maybe that played a part. Maybe that's why they looked tired.
And then obviously we saw at the end of the game, Gareth Bale was asked, about his future and whether he was going to retire. It's been a question that's been asked so many times, and I think we're all just rolling our eyes as Wales fans because we've got a World Cup qualifying campaign around the corner. Of course, he's going to want to be a part of that. And when he walked off and he didn't even answer that question, he did later on, and he said to S4C, that he'll stop playing for Wales when he stops playing football. But when you're asked that question, I'm just interested to see, do you think players should be given a bit more time? He's just lost in the last 16 of a major tournament. And then you're asked that question. Do you think the timing needs to be a bit better?
Listen, what some journalists are like. What I mean? Some
exclusive.
Yeah, they want that headline. They want that Bale quits Wales, and I can understand them asking that question if he's 36 years of age or 37. He's only 31. And I think you're right. There's a World Cup qualifier. He's got Qatar next November, and he's still integral to what Wales do. There's no one in that side coming up, or even in there now, who thinks can do what Bale does. And to ask that question after getting knocked out, you know, I think it's bang out of order, if I'm being totally honest. You know, talk about the game, talk about the disappointment.
Yeah.
You know, but the timing's wrong. You know, sometimes it's one of those where you think straight off the game, emotions are running high, you're disappointed. But you don't know when you go out to these interviews what the people are going to ask.
Yeah.
You know, and to throw that one right at the end.
Yeah.
Not happy about that.
Well, Wales are out. The story rolls on for
Did
Denmark.
you smile when you said that?
I did. I tried to suppress it. You caught it. You caught it. But the story rolls on for Denmark, doesn't it? And they looked really strong. And I think that a lot of people are talking about them as true contenders in this tournament now.
Yeah, I don't think they're true contenders. To be honest, I think that they've been fantastic. They've been great. You know, we know about their story. That keeps them going, the momentum going. We saw that what they were like against Russia. They're happy to attack teams, happy to score goals. That's the thing, they're scoring plenty of goals.
Yeah.
You know, something England are not doing. But I think there's going to be bigger teams out there who will probably take care of them. But listen, I'm so glad that, you know, not so glad because obviously I wanted Wales to go through, you know, but as far as that, I think, you know, story keeps going for Denmark.
But let's be realistic. They're not there because they're playing for Ericsson or, you know, that's obviously going to be there before the match, but they are there because they're playing good football.
Of course,
and I don't think we can, you know, overlook that.
No, for sure.
One thing we can't overlook is the Pitch Football app. If you haven't downloaded it already, you need to do it, and you need to do it
Now.
Right now.
It's a wonderful app. We're going to be showcasing a lot of the features of the app as we go along on today's show. You're going to be asking Ince some questions. You're going to be responding to some of our questions. And you could win yourself a huge prize. I'll tell you more about that very soon after the break.
They say life is a game, gotta have your goals. I gotta take a shot, now pass me the ball. Always wanna stop me when I'm running the ball. They say life is a game, gotta have your goals. I gotta take a shot.
Back to Pitch Football at the Euros with me, Abby, Ince, and Luca. Now, we have had some very special guests on this show, but I feel like we should have rolled out the red carpet for this man because Luca here is a huge Inter Milan fan, huge Paul Ince fan, and he's flown. We're filming this in the Algarve in Portugal, and Luca flew all the way from Italy to Portugal to get an Inter Milan shirt signed by Paul Ince. This was yesterday, and now we thought, let's have him on the show to tell us why. Luca, welcome. How are you?
Hi. For me, it's very important in Portugal because Paul is my idol, and for me, is a dream. It's very, very important.
Ince, it must feel surreal for you.
It does. He's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah.
Because they're crazy.
Italian crazy.
Yeah, pazzo, yeah. It's mad because you know, you kind of think, you know, my career's over now, finished. You know what I mean? And then I get a phone call from a friend of mine in Lake Como and says, "Oh, there's this Luca wants to come over and get the signed shirt." So I'm thinking, well, just send it to me, I'll sign it. You know, but you know, he's an amazing fella. You know, to come over all this way on the plane to Portugal just to get a shirt signed, you know, it's great. And it's great. And you know, I think this is about his grandfather. You know, he used to watch me play as a footballer, and he was only small. It's mad. I know it's mad what people do just to get an autograph. But it's amazing what he do. He's an amazing man.
You're a big Inter Milan fan?
Yes, Inter de Milan fan, and I watch Inter in San Siro, and I watch have Paul in very, very good football player.
Yeah.
For me, he's the best midfielder of Inter de Milan. For me.
History.
Yes.
Wow.
Grazie Luca.
So
Ci paga dopo, eh?
How nice was it when you met him yesterday for the first time?
First time with Paul.
Yeah, come to senti, vedi?
Very, 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 very.
Love it. So obviously you played for Inter 95 through to 97, 54 appearances, 10 goals. It's that's nice, isn't
that's
it?
surprising, isn't it?
When you look back, is that one of the best times of your career? How fondly do you remember it?
It's funny because I played for some big clubs, you know, and everybody says to me, "What's your best time?"
Yeah.
And I always say Inter Milan, you know. But, and it was for so many reasons. It was just the culture, you know, learning another language, which is always tough.
Yeah.
you know, and as me and Abby spoke about something the other day about your background and you know not going to school, and all of a sudden you're 28 and you're learning another language in a different country. You know, the weather was amazing and the fans, they were incredible, absolutely incredible, and I had a great time there.
It's possible one question, because only 2 years in the Inter de Milan.
Why?
Oh,
Why?
okay.
So only 2 years.
Oh, 100%. I thought
Yeah.
you were doing the show. Hey, Luca. Okay. I think it was tough, and I think that's a good question, Luca. I think it was tough because the 2 years in Milan, in Inter, can't say Milan, you've got to say Inter. Everything was great for me. You know, the football was great. The fans loved me. It was perfect. I had another 3 years left.
Yeah.
We just about to sign Ronaldo, R9, not R7, Ronaldo for next season. And there was a situation with the family. You know, my wife caught Bell palsy at the time. Inter weren't very great in looking after that. Thomas was only 5, and she just said, she wanted to go back. You know what I mean? It was one of those decisions. You know, it was a hard one for me. You know what I mean? Because I loved it at Inter.
Yeah.
I loved it with the fans, and the football was great. But then it was a family decision.
Family first, isn't
Yeah,
it?
and family always comes first.
He's the first player of Massimo Moratti.
So Massimo Moratti was the owner of Inter.
Okay.
And his reign, I was the first one that he bought.
I love it.
Amazing.
I love it. He's got good taste.
He's got a good taste.
He's got a great taste.
He knows his players.
So do you, Luca. You got a little surprise for Luca, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Luca, we got.
Questa.
Oh,
Ti presento il regalo per te.
thank you.
Con Luca con simpatia. Affermato.
Thank you.
Grazie a tutti. Buon viaggio.
Grazie.
Show to the camera, Luca.
Grazie.
Nice.
Okay.
Yes, very good.
Ti piace?
Okay. Grazie mille. Thank you very much. Thank
Prego,
you.
prego.
Thank you.
What a special moment. I love it.
Amazing.
Speaking of special moments, you two had a bit of a conversation in a different environment to here at the Tribulum restaurant, where you touched on some deeper subjects, didn't you?
Yeah, I think, you know, we've all had conversations away from the set because we don't actually mind each other. So, you know, we've had quite a few discussions, and I think we just thought it was important to have a sit-down conversation just in a casual environment and chat over some of our thoughts that were maybe a little bit deeper that weren't part of the show.
Well, you can see this conversation in full after the last 16. But let's get a little bit of a taste of what you can expect. Here, Abby and Paul talk about Paul at West Ham and moving away from his friends.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, it's nice to have a nice little chat, and especially because we've had a good few conversations about football and you know the deeper side of it. You know, just it's so significant to both of us at different points of our lives. It's meant different things, and yeah, I just think we should start. You know, from your childhood to the pinnacle of your career. How significant would you say football's been to you?
I think it's massively important.
Yeah.
You know, I think when you kind of just, you know, growing up, you know, as a kid, you know, you can either go one or two ways, you know, and I was at that kind of probably crossroads where do I go that way with the rest of the boys or do I go this way for football? And it's a hard decision because when you talk about, you know, a lot of these boys that I used to hang around with had no families, you know, so we were the family. That makes sense, you know what I mean? So it was always tough to kind of leave them. I've actually felt so hard to leave them. Even when I was at 17, 18, I was still hanging around with them. Obviously West Ham didn't know about it, you know what I mean? But I was still hanging around with them, you know, and it was hard to just kind of leave them. And some of them were a little bit jealous, as in to say, well, why, you know, you've been with for 6 years now. Yeah. You've been, you know.
But I guess that's all they've known as well, though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So it's difficult for them. You said you found it difficult, but they're going to find it difficult for you to leave as well.
Yeah, true. They did. And I think it was funny though because I remember going back to Dagenham about 6 years ago, and I used to have a very close friend of mine. He was my best mate at school. He was actually a better footballer than me. He was a better footballer than me. And I remember going past Goodmay Station in the car, and I looked round and I thought, that's my mate. That is. Like reverse back round, come back, stop the car, and it was him. And he was just dressed in like holes in his trousers. And I said, "Is that you?" He went, yeah. He said, "Oh, what are you doing?" He said, "Oh, I need some money. I need some money for drugs. You know, I'm living in a bed sit." And I thought, wow, you know, that he could have been in my position. Yeah. you know, and I could easily have been in his position.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and it's so sad to see, you know, and sometimes I kind of look at it and think, you know, I'm glad I made that right decision. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah. But then, I guess, you know, is there a chance that you could have kept in touch? Like, how easily did you lose that contact with them?
I think you do. I think you have to. That when there's no way that you can't. You're going to keep hanging around with these guys. You've got to remember we were like out most of the time causing trouble. So you know, when you kind of start taking football seriously, then you've got to make that decision. You can't half-heartedly make it.
Yeah. But do you think you could have? You know, do you look back and think it would have been so easy to go down that route?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. It's a given.
Yeah.
You know, and that's having that kind of mental toughness to say, well, listen, I'm prepared to sacrifice, you know, what I've done for the last 6 years to try and start doing something that what I've got a passion for. And a lot of these players had a passion for, you know, and I remember even when we were 12, 13, 14, in my Saturday Sunday club, you know, we had about 8 players who used to go to West Ham every day, every Tuesday night, every Thursday night. Same players, good players, as I said, better players than me. And but they couldn't deal with the coaches having a go at them because they've spent so many years on their own, or you know, no one told them what to do. So then you go to West Ham where it's disciplined, and coaches say, "Mike, you should do this," and they go, "Not having that."
But couldn't that have been you? Because you might not have had that influence early on in your life where people are, you know, shaping and moulding you in that certain way. So you might not have reacted that well to.
No, and it's funny though, because I kind of think to myself, you know, what made me different from them?
Yeah.
You know, because as I said before, they were probably better players than what I was, and I'm thinking, well, why am I so different? Why have I decided to make that decision and they haven't? You know, maybe it's a case of comfortability. You know, I mean, I always felt that I wanted to. You know, even when my dad left when I was 2, you know, my mum went to Germany to work when I was 10. So from 10 years of age, I spent a lot of time going from place to place. You know, eventually finding my digs, you know, with a lovely lady called Barbara in Dagenham. So, you know, so I always had this kind of feeling in the back of my mind that I wanted to have a family, you know what I mean? A close family, and this is the only way I could do it. And then I look back on other people and I think, well, you've done exactly the same. And it is sad, but I don't know, I sometimes say to myself, you know, what, you know, sometimes I say, well, why me? What separated me from
At
them?
10 years old, what stopped you from going, well, both my parents aren't there, I could go down a completely different path now?
And I did.
You know,
I did for a period of time. I did for 6, 7 years. You know, and you know, luckily I had someone like John Lowe, you know, he had a lot of faith in me and belief in me, because there were other coaches at West Ham who were saying to John Lowe, get rid of him. You know, it was nothing but trouble. To get rid of him. So, but he kept faith in me, you know, and that's a good thing when you got someone to look up to. Because I was looked to John Lowe as my father figure. You know, and you know, so I didn't want to let him down more than anything. You know?
And like I said, you can catch more of this amazing conversation very soon here on Sporty Stuff TV. What else do you two get into?
We talked mental health, racism, the pressures that you feel from the media. There was a lot that we covered, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think we could have covered a lot more. To be fair, you know, that was great. You've got to watch it. It's a must watch. It's a must watch.
Dream team. Right, if you haven't already, go get yourself downloading the Pitch Football app. Any last words for your superfan here who's flown all the way from Italy to come and see you?
Luca, you are amazing. Okay, you're amazing, and I thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll be back after the break.
They say life is a game, gotta have your goals. They say life is a game, gotta have your goals. I gotta take a shot.
Welcome back to Pitch Football at the Euros. We are 1 Italian down, but we are still the dynamic trio. Could you say that?
Yep,
I'm Iain
definitely.
Chambers, this is Abigail Davies, and this is, of course, Mr. Paul Ince. Let's talk about the Italians. Through to the quarterfinals. They didn't make it easy for themselves against the Austrians, but you've got to give them some credit.
You have, and I think, you know, as I said it before, you know, in the group stages, it's kind of not a lot of pressure because they won their first 2 games. They were allowed to change their side against Wales, making 8 changes, and allowed the players who were going to play in the 16 to get a rest, get some fresh legs. And we thought it was a foregone conclusion. You know, they can tell by mine and Abby's predictions that we thought, you know, it was going to be easy for the Italians, but it wasn't. And I said it's a different mentality, knockout football. You know, the teams that you're playing against, as we saw against Austria, it's their cup final.
Yeah.
You know, the expectations on Italy to win the game. There's no pressure on the Austrians, and it looked that way. The Austrians played with a deep block. The Italians found it hard to get past them. And then when an outfit scored the goal, we thought, wow.
Well, we all thought it
was a shock.
Yeah.
It's a shock coming because I couldn't see Italy coming back from that. But what we see with the Italian team is what we haven't got in the Welsh team. They haven't got strength in depth.
Yeah.
They haven't got people who can come off the bench and score goals. And we saw that with Chiesa and we saw it with Pessina.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, listen, I want the Italians to go through. I think, you know, on merit they deserve to go through. But it just shows you, when you look at these last 16 teams, you think, oh, they should win, it should be comfortable. We saw it yesterday. That ain't the case.
If you're the manager, if you're Mancini and you make that decision to bring those two subs on and they both score, I mean, that's got to give you some big credit as well.
Absolutely, and I think, you know, we saw Chiesa against Wales, and I think, you know, he had the better of Nico Williams the entire match. And I think to know that you can do that and he can change a game, I think that's incredibly important. I think as well, I think yesterday showed me that I'm more confident in the Italians now because they were tested and they were able to rise that. Okay, it was in extra time. But, you know, you normally look at extra time and you think, oh, is it going to be a bit more cagey because, all right, we haven't got the golden or silver goal anymore, but, you know, it's still only half an hour. So I would say that test was needed. Would you say after getting through the group so easily that you want to be tested like that and you want to be able to rise to that challenge as opposed to getting through that round quite comfortably?
Yeah, well, I think it shows that you can play in a different way.
Yeah.
You know, even if you're not at your best,
Yeah.
you know, you can grind results out.
Absolutely.
And that's the most important thing, you know, to winning this tournament. You're not always going to go and beat teams 3 and 4-0. You're not always going to have it your own way. You know, and they showed that even when the chips were down, they were prepared to dig deep and come out with those 2 goals. And just a little stat for you.
We love this. We love this.
All right. Federico Chiesa, which is Enrico Chiesa's dad, holds the record for the most person to come off the bench and score for Italy.
Wow.
And now his son is now doing exactly the same
That's
thing.
amazing.
I have to say that Spinazzola, sorry, I don't want to take away from that moment. We should let it breathe.
No, I just want to let you know.
Give it time in his head.
Let's just all sit on that for a minute. But yeah, Spinazzola.
I've got another fact, but I'll tell you later.
Oh,
Now,
you tease us
let's do it
now.
It's not a little fact.
Let's do
Go
it.
on then.
All right.
Is it fact of the day?
It's a fact of the day.
Yeah.
I know we're going to go away from the Italy stuff, but it's a little fact of the day.
Let's go.
Is that elephants, all right? Elephants are the only animals that can't jump.
Well, unless you're Kiefer Moore and you've got a terrible referee.
That's a fact. Elephants are the only animals that can't jump.
That's amazing. I'm trying to imagine an elephant jumping in my mind.
Can you?
And I can't do it. Just like I can't think of another animal that has a chin other than us. This man's full of them. He just doubled up on facts. So just briefly before we move on to today's games, Abby's feeling more confident in Italy. Are you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's all about who they got next round. You know what I mean? You know, that's just said they can work both ways. They can go fast for attacking football. They can grind results out. That's a combination of team who can win the tournament.
I think as well, Spinazzola has been one of the standout performers for me.
Well, we put him in our team, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's easy to see why Real Madrid are reportedly interested in signing him.
Absolutely. Right, Croatia versus Spain. I think this is going to be a good game. Croatia have been gradually, you know, coming into their own, building some momentum in this tournament. History isn't on their side. They've been knocked out of the tournament in the knockout stages the last 3 times on the bounce. But you've said many times in this show, history doesn't matter. They're going to be looking for a big win over Spain.
Yeah, they are doing. I think it's going to be one of the games of the last 16. You know, we were looking about their fixtures and what you can see to be the good games. I think this is going to be a really, really attacking game. And they've got better as the competition's gone on. And that's what you want. You can feel the momentum going on. And I think with Croatia, when you get the likes of Modric, we saw his goal. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the goals. We talk about Sheik's goal, but outside the right foot, edge of the box. How many people can do that?
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. And,
we're going to talk more about that.
And you see the team getting more confidence and more confident, getting used to playing with each other, how they want to play. So it's going to be a tough game for Spain.
You say that, but Perisic tested positive for COVID, so he's going to miss the game. And you see things like that, and you think they are just starting to link up a lot better, and you think something like that could throw them off slightly. But Spain, you know, you look at those, having Busquets back, that is crucial in my opinion, because he's that one that does the dirty work. He's the one that will get stuck in, and he's also got that good range of passing. So I think having him back for Spain, that's crucial.
Yeah, listen, I think with Spain, I think the way they've been playing, we didn't fancy them at all. You know, I don't think Luis Enrique was quite sure how to go, how to play, where we wanted to play without a striker, whether he just plays with Morata on his own, or whether he plays the two of them in Gerrard. And against Leicester, it worked. And I think you just need that big result, that big 5-0. People go, it makes all the other teams stand up and go, hang about, are they finding their form?
That's it.
Can be deceiving because Leicester are poor. But they're going to the game there with full of confidence.
And they look very fast-paced, energetic, very young side. But let's get some predictions for this one. You go first.
I'll tell you what, you're lucky at the moment. You are so lucky. Because I've got all the teams right. And
it's still 4-2.
No, but within 65 minutes, I've got the correct score. And I'm praying that they don't score. So I'll be still 4-2 in front.
What do you reckon?
I'm going Croatia 1, Spain 2.
I'm going Spain 3, Croatia 1.
Okay, we've got 50 seconds just to briefly talk about France versus Switzerland. We'll probably get more into it in the next quarter. The Swiss have never beaten the French in a competitive fixture ever. And I can't really see that changing tonight. No,
I never will. I think the French are too strong. Got too much quality on the part. Listen, don't get me wrong. You know, Shaqiri's flying now. He's got a couple of goals. As again, we went back to the Italy-Austria game. It's not a foregone conclusion. It's not going to be easy. Things can happen in games. But I still fancy the French will be too strong for them.
Right. What do you reckon? Score. Let's go.
3-1, France.
3-1 to France.
You were going to say that, wouldn't you?
Yep. So I'm gonna have to go 2-1 France.
Okay, let's cross over to Sheffield in the UK. James Helder, the Euro Bureau. He's been catching up with Brian Dean and a couple of other special guests, talking about underwhelming nations in this tournament so far. Over to you, James.
This is James Helder for the Euro Bureau. With me are my esteemed guests from the world of football, Brian Dean, Maddie Cusack, and none other than Lee Bullen. We're discussing today a little bit about the European Championships and what teams have really let us down? Who did we expect more from? What dark horses haven't performed? What big countries are struggling? Who would like to start us off?
I think not really let us down, but as we've mentioned, I've been a bit disappointed with the way England have played in terms of I really want them to be creative, exciting,
You're not the only
and they just
one.
haven't been.
Yeah, you're not the only one. I think. Well, apart from Lee, he's been quite happy about it. Everybody else has been.
Yeah, just
everybody else has
more,
been quite.
I guess. We always do, though, don't we?
Yeah. Is that us as fans, though? Are we expecting gun-ho football when we should be happy that he's getting 1-0 results?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've done really well, really, haven't we? We've topped the group. We've got 7 points, but yeah, we still want more, don't we?
Football fans by nature are greedy. They'll get a 1-0 win, they wanted a 2-0.
Yeah, you're right.
They get 7 points, they wanted 9 points. So that's natural.
Talking about England, aren't you?
Yeah, right. I'm part of Sheffield Wednesday, and they're all the same, and I know the fan base, they just crave success, and the English fans are the exact same. The Scottish fans, not quite the same. They expect to be disappointed a lot of the time, so when they do get it, then it's nice. Getting to these finals were great, but again, the natural aspect of a football supporter or a sporting supporter, you get greedy after a win. You expect it to be better. You suddenly want a win and a performance, and hey, why not? You always want more. From my point of view, one of the teams that I've been disappointed with was when we touched on Turkey in the past, where we were a lot of people sort of dark horses. Poland have disappointed me a little bit. Lewandowski's. I just thought Poland would do better than they are. Now, obviously, they've still got a final game to go, as we're speaking, but I just thought they'd be a tougher nut to crack in their group. Turkey as well. The one that I think Portugal might struggle against France.
But they love a third place finish anyway, so they're not worried, are they?
I suppose. They'll get there in the end. It doesn't matter how you get through the rounds, I suppose. It's getting into that, and then that really heats up in the last 16. So.
Now, for me, I don't know how you guys feel about this. I've been a bit disappointed in Spain. I'm expecting so much from Luis Enrique in Spain. I really thought Spain would come and try to announce themselves with a new crop of players. Where the aging tiki-taka seems to be on its way out, but it just hasn't happened, does it?
It's
It
tired.
just hasn't happened.
It's tired. I mean, I remember, everybody, when we had David Villa and all these, when they had that brilliant team where they won the World Cup and everything, and for me, they'd never evolved.
They haven't replaced those players, have they? The Busquets, the David Silvas.
Yeah, Busquets.
But even the way of playing, you expect to see a progression, and it's like when they played Holland. I think in the World Cup and they got smashed 5-0, and you just think, well, okay, what are they bringing? And then we come into this tournament and they've had like 90% possession in one game and not got a shot. You know, so you have to. I'm like, well, where's the progression in that? I mean, I think they'll go through, but in terms of playing, I feel that teams have worked them out. You know, at international level, they've worked them out, and I think that they're not, like you said, they're not producing the players that are robust enough to play against some of the better teams now at top level.
I think they're going to be there or thereabouts. I genuinely do.
Really?
I think they'll come stronger. Yeah, I think other teams, as Dino's right, other countries have figured them out. So they're sitting in and just inviting them on and trying to catch them in the counter-attack. But all it takes is one goal, and then the opposition has to come out, and they nick one goal, then they'll start passing teams off the park. Germany were similar in the first game when they lost against France. I thought they passed France off the park, but were leaving themselves open at the back. They just couldn't do anything in the final area. But I think Spain will. Genuinely, I think Spain, Italy, Germany, they always find a way to get there.
It's true.
It winds me up.
It's true.
They say life is a game, gotta have your goals. I got. They say life is a game, gotta have your goals.
Welcome back to Pitch Football at the Euros with me, Iain Chambers, Abigail Davies and Ince. If you haven't downloaded the Pitch Football app yet, what are you thinking about? You need to get yourself on there right now. There's so many different features, prizes that you can win. But one of my favourites is fan time. And within that part of the app, you can ask this man any question you want. He will answer it. Nothing's off limits.
No.
You know it's not. Should we get to question one?
Please do.
Let's go.
In a illustrious English career across many different amazing clubs in England, what was the highlight for you?
Good question. You did have an illustrious career at England. What was your highlight?
I think, listen, there's many highlights when you play for your country. Listen, your debut for England in 1992 is always the kind of thing that you remember. Against Spain in Santander, we lost 1-0. Playing in a major tournament. You know, I think as playing for England, you always want to play in the World Cups and in the European tournaments. But if I would had one specific game, it'd probably be the game against Italy in '97 in Rome. It was such an important game because '94 we didn't qualify.
Yeah.
Excuse me, we didn't qualify. We should have qualified, but we didn't for the World Cup in America. And you start to kind of think to yourself, am I ever going to play in a major tournament? You know. But after '96, playing in that, you want to play in the World Cup. Once you're playing in the European Championships, the next one is the World Cup.
Yeah.
And '97 was a massive game against Italy. I was still at Inter Milan at the time, which was kind of a nice feeling. You know, we had to get a point, and you know, in Rome, in the Lions Den, so to speak. And you know, I was captain of the team that game, so there was a lot of pressure on me. You know, because listen, you've got Tony Adams and people like that in the team. You should be captain, and I'm the captain. So I'm thinking, why am I captain? If we get beat, everyone's going to look to you because you're the captain. So to go there and just tactically be astute, you know, Glenn Hoddle was amazing how he set the teams up, and to get a point and then qualify, and to see our fans who were just in the corner of the stadium. I mean, the police won't let them go. You know, they were singing and singing. Even when I got back in the change room, I could hear them singing and singing, and it was just an amazing night. So, and that obviously took us on to '98 France World Cup. So, good question, and that's the answer.
That was a good question, wasn't it? When you look back at your England career and all the managers that you played under, who backed you the most?
I think they all backed me.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anyone that didn't back me. I think I loved playing under Terry Venables. I think the way he gave a calmness to the team, the way he was easy to speak to. You understood what his tactics were. He simplified things. You know, players haven't got a large concentration span, so you know, when you start muddling with words, you kind of get confused. But every player knew what they were doing, and it was only one or two things that he would say. That we said, right, we know our jobs, know what we can do. After that, you go and do what you do. And this is the thing, you've got to allow players to do what they do. and Venables was good at that. And I think the only sad thing is, even with Glenn Hoddle, we've had two top English managers, and they've both lost their jobs for non-related football situations. And that's the thing that kind of gripes with me, and always has griped with me. You know, and you know, I think if we kept Terry Venables or we kept Glenn Hoddle, we wouldn't be sitting here now talking about that we haven't won a major tournament, because these were two managers that we've let go. for non-football related reasons.
Were there ever times, you mentioned, you always knew what you were doing on the pitch, and sometimes when you watch a game and you just think, these players don't know what the task is that a genuine thing, that you go out onto the pitch and you go, I don't know how he's tried to set us up here, I don't know what we're meant to be doing? Is that a real thing?
That is a real thing, because sometimes you ask players to play differently, you ask them to play in different positions, which I don't really understand, because I think the reason why you're in that side, the reason why you're in that squad, is because of what you've done at club level. So why would you want to change that player and ask him to do something completely different that he's done for 46 games? It doesn't make sense to me. The genius part of it is getting everyone in the same team to play the way you do for your club, integrate it into a team effect. That's the greatest thing to do, and the Terry Venables was brilliant at doing that.
Should we get another question?
Absolutely.
Gaffer, what one change would you have made to the England squad? Is there one player that you would have definitely taken that hasn't travelled?
Another great question. Thank you very much, Paul. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it was a good question. I didn't think you had it in to be fair. Listen, I think looking at what we've got and looking at the way we've played, I kind of feel disappointed that we didn't take James Ward-Prowse.
Yeah.
I think he was. We talk about the Grealishes and the Fodens and how they travel the ball and how they dribble, but we don't talk about free kick specialists. And we've seen it, in past. We've seen it with Becks. We've seen him score in the winner at Old Trafford in 2002 to qualify for the 2002 Euros. And we need someone like that. We need someone who can deliver like he does. And also, if we get free kicks outside the box, we talked about Di Brooks yesterday giving a ridiculous foul outside the box. If we got James Ward-Prowse on for 10-15 minutes, you've seen what he's been doing at Southampton. We talk about not getting enough crosses in the box for Harry Kane. There's one who can do that. I'm not saying he's going to start, but what I'm saying, he could be someone like a secret weapon that you bring on the last 15 minutes.
He offers something different.
He offers something completely different.
Nice. Good answer. Very good answer, Mr. Ince. If you want to ask Paul a question yourself, make sure you get on the app. Another feature, is we ask you questions. So let's cross over to some more fan time. I think we can all agree that the best goal of the tournament so far has been from Schick. What I want to know is, which has been the second best goal of the tournament so far?
As a left-footed player myself, I think Yarmolenko's curler, top bins against the Netherlands, was amazing. I think it was Netherlands, but it was amazing.
Good shout. Do you still think that Schick is the best goal of the tournament?
Yeah, Schick is definitely up to now. It's the best. If I was going to say the second best, I'd probably say Locatelli's, because I just think the volley from the halfway line out wide was unbelievable, and then down the right side, and even running and putting it back in it. For me, that was an outstanding goal.
Abs.
I'm going Hazard. When Lukaku went down the right, crossed it in, KDB, his vision to find Hazard, that's the one for me. It's a team goal, and I'm a sucker for a team goal.
Italians was a team goal. How can you have someone who volleys the ball from the halfway line on the volley, out right, and then has audacity to run 50 yards? That's a team goal.
I can do that.
I'm with you.
Hazard was like 4 yards out.
It was the vision from KDB.
Listen, I know you're upset, so I'm going to leave it today.
I've got a question. What can Ince do? Is there any... Because since we've been out here, we've played a bit of golf. You've got an incredible swing. I've just seen you, in all environments, you seem to boss the situation. So I thought we'd do a bit of a feature on this show.
Yes.
We're going to take you to different sporting environments. Me and you are going to face off. Abby's going to be the referee. Correct. We're going to find something in this world that you can't do.
There will be something. I'm sure of it.
I can't beat Abby in predictions. That's what I can't do. That's the only thing I can't do. But I'm coming. I'm coming.
Should we start with chipping? Let's start with chipping.
Chipping.
Throw in the deliciousness right back at you. Thank you very much, Iain. We've been allowed out of the restaurant for the afternoon. Beautiful. Iain has come up with another ingenious idea, I think we'd call it. Yeah. It's called What Can't Ince Do?
There's nothing he can't do.
There's nothing.
The problem is I've known Ince for 2 weeks now, and obviously we all grew up watching this man, one of the greatest players to ever come out of England. You've reached the pinnacle of your career, and you're also very good at all other sports, aren't you? You just admit it. You are, aren't you?
No, I'm not, to be fair. I'm not. That's just the reason why we're having this challenge, to see what I can't do.
You're playing it down.
I'm not playing it down. I'm quite humble. But listen, this is going to be a great challenge, because I know you're very competitive, and you know I am. We've been having this little banter for the last couple of weeks now. And we've got a lot more challenges coming ahead in the show.
Yeah.
But this is the first one we're going to do.
What are we starting with, Abby?
We're starting with a chipping contest. Chipping, yeah? So the aim is to get the ball from here. I think you'll need this instruction more than Ince after your practice
come on,
runs.
Abs, what's
After
going
your
on?
practice runs, I think you need this. So, yeah, the idea is to get it from here all the way over into one of the holes.
Okay.
Any hole will do.
Any holes will go.
Yeah.
All right, so Ince, I want you to commentate on this.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Take it away.
Do you want the good advice or do you want the right advice or the bad advice? So I like you to stand up a little bit taller.
Pressure on.
You know, play it maybe a little bit off your back foot. Yeah. You know, because you want to hit it quite low and keep the body turning. That's lovely. That's lovely.
Ah!
Not bad. It's nice contact. Nice contact.
Yeah.
It's not enough though, trainers. It's not enough.
Oh.
I actually think that I'm quite happy with that.
You happy with
Because
that?
look, the ball's sitting there just in the rough, in the sand. You think you can
Are you
beat that?
still confident?
Yeah, of course. I was born confident. Let's do it.
You got a ball?
Yes, I got a ball. I got my special ball.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of jizz on it.
Here we go. Here we go. Let's see what happens here. This is it. Ince's shot.
Can I have our club, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. What's he gonna do?
Stepping up. What do you think of his stance? Is it any better than yours?
Nah,
I don't think
his
no.
back's too.
Chambers is standing a little bit too crouched. You know
Right,
what I mean?
okay.
He's just standing tall with weight a little bit forward on the left foot.
Why does that make a difference?
Because you want to kind of hit the ball down. You don't want to try to hit it up.
Okay, and you want to be.
Talk about it. Be about it.
Okay, here we go. Let's do this. Oh my!
Are you serious?
So,
Did you just see that?
Are you serious?
Did you just see that?
I don't think I want to do this challenge anymore. I don't want to do this challenge anymore. Back to you in the studio, you handsome devil, Iain.
I like you, son.
Thanks, Iain. I don't know who told you to wear that vest, but you look ridiculous. You're delicious as well, by the way. Thank you very much for
thank
that.
you. I thought we were both going to do that, so I look a bit silly now.
No man. I'll tell you what. That's one of the greatest shots of all time. I don't know how you did it. I don't know how you did it.
Smug.
Sometimes it's best not to say nothing in these kind of situations, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to say nothing. I look forward to the next challenge, which will be very soon, my friend.
Well, let's talk about some of the things that we could potentially do.
Snooker.
You reckon snooker?
Snooker,
You
definitely.
know your snooker.
Yeah.
Yes,
Darts.
We've done the darts.
We've done the darts.
Yeah, but not in the what can't Ince do scenario.
I like to do maybe the tennis. What we'd do is have 10 balls and see who can serve the most aces. That's
All right.
That's what we're going to do next.
Are you a player at tennis?
No, not really, but I think I've got enough to beat you.
Do you think there's any
Bowls?
balls?
Because here at Tribulum we have got a bowling green.
Yeah, I'm the right age for that.
Yeah.
I think James is a little bit too young, but I think I'm.
Have you got the white trousers?
All right, well, I'm looking forward to seeing where we go with this.
Yes.
What can Ince do? More episodes of that coming soon here on the show. If you haven't downloaded the Pitch Football app yet, get yourself on there. Do it. Foreplay is arguably my favourite feature. That is where you can potentially win yourself one of the greatest prizes in prize history. A round of golf with this man. And after seeing his chipping, he's going to have you. We'll be back tomorrow with more Pitch Football at the Euros. See you then.
They say life is a game, gotta have your goals. I gotta take a shot.